Hello everybody, I am Clayton Borges, English teacher. In this video, I'm going to present our first review from English Level 4 and some subjects that we have studied during this semester. The first thing that we have to remember is about the vocabularies we practice and learn it, about the life priorities. In this case, you have to remember the meaning of each one of these vocabularies about life priorities and remember how to discuss about them and how to pronounce them and how to write them in English. So, pause this video and repeat after me. Career, financial security, fitness, having fun, health, culture, education, free time, friends and family, love. It's important to remember that everyone needs to discuss about each item here, giving your own opinion about these areas, about life priorities, and discussing why do you consider these vocabularies important in your life. The next topic is about a review between simple present and simple past. As you can see, what's the function of a simple present? Is to talk about routines, habits, repeated actions, facts. Okay, this is about the level 1. And here we have two examples. We live in Belém. So in this example, we have a fact. Another example, we can say, I go to the gym every day. So this is an example of a routine in simple present. What's the function of present continuous? Is to talk about actions happening now, around now, at the moment, in progress now. We talk about for future plans too in English, and we talk these tense for intentions and predictions too. As you can see, we have 4 examples here. The first example, I'm studying English at UFPA. This is an example in progress, this action. The second example, they are watching movies on Netflix now. Is happening now at this moment. Another example is for future plan, right? She's going to the dentist after class. And the last example is an intention for the future. I think I'm going to fix my car later. What do you have to remember to mention the present continuous is the structure. We always say the subject plus the verb be in simple present plus the actual verb in gerund form with ing suffix. That's the structure of the present continuous. So, what's the difference? We say this tense for 2 functions. We say for actions in progress right now, and we say for future plans, for the future, actions for the futures. And what's the difference, the function of simple past? So, we say simple past to talk about completed past event, actions that started in the past and finished in the past. In this tense, we have to remember how to say this verb in past form. And we have regular and irregular verbs. So that's why for regular verbs, the form for the past, we have just to say the suffix ed at the end of the main verb. But for irregular verbs, they change the form for the past tense. Here we have 4 examples. We studied hard, but didn't pass the test. So in this example, the verb is study. Study is a regular verb. So in the past, we only say this form with the suffix ed at the end of the verb. Studied. The second example is a question. So if we have a question for simple past, we have to say the auxiliary verb did. Did they go to the hospital this morning? And when we say a question, the main verb, in this case, go, is in the basic form, right? The third example, I saw a beautiful tower yesterday on the street. So the verb saw is the past form of the verb see. So this is an irregular verb. It changes the form for the past. In the last example, last night my mom listened to the radio. So the verb listen is regular, so we say listened. So the next step is about the senses. They are vocabularies that we have to remember. About the first sense we discussed it is about this one here, represented by this picture. We say hearing. So if you have the opportunity to pause this video, just repeat after me. Hearing, sight, smell, taste, touch. Don't forget, class, because they are the senses in English. Hearing, sight, smell, taste, touch. Now, we discuss about the future forms. We say, for this modal verb, will, and the negative form we say want in English. So for this future form, we always say the main verb in the basic form. This is easy to comprehend for all the subjects in English. What's the function with this? We say for definite plans, we can say for unplanned decisions, or we can say will for predictions. As you can see, we have 3 examples. The first example is a definite plan. As you can see, I'll go to the movies tonight. I have a ticket. So imagine that I have more or less 95% of certainty about this action for the future. So we can say I'll go, right? This is a contraction form. The next example, okay, I'll have a coffee. This is an example of an unplanned decision. Think about this situation, the situation that we are in a cafe store and you take a menu to choose what you want to eat or drink. And at this time, you do an unplanned decision by choosing this coffee. So we say with the will tense, we say I will have a coffee. This is an unplanned decision. I don't have this definite plan for the future, right? In this situation. The last example, it won't rain today. This is a prediction, right? Think about the way that you see outside your house and you see the clouds, right? The clouds are very clear today. It's a sunny day, for example, so you can mention this. It won't rain today. You have this prediction for the future. So, giving advice, we practice with this modal verb should or shouldn't. Don't forget to mention this pronunciation, right, class? Should or shouldn't. So we have to say the sound U in a long way. Should, shouldn't. What's the function? They are modal verbs used to offer advice, opinions, or suggestions. Use should to recommend a good idea or positive action. And shouldn't, the negative form, to advise against a bad idea or negative action. Imagine this. Here we have 3 examples about this. In this unit, we practice with some vocabularies about illnesses. Do you remember illnesses? The flu, cold, headache, stomachache, right? So in the first example, we can say, he should take a painkiller by himself, right? A painkiller is a medicine, a kind of medicine. So this is the structure. We say the subject plus the modal verb should plus the main verb in the basic form, right? He should take. But in negative, we only say shouldn't. As you can see in the second example, you shouldn't go outside while you are sick. Obviously, if you are sick, what's the recommendation? Is to stay at home, right? Rest a little, a bit. So this is an advice that you shouldn't go outside your home, your house. The third example is, while you have the flu, you should rest a bit and eat a warm soup. That's the advice, the suggestion, right? With should. So, simple past, one more time, right? The function is to talk about actions happening in the past and finish it in the past. We usually say a time expression. Okay, these time expressions can be yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, last week, last weekend, can be a specific day of the week, last Friday, last Thursday, last Wednesday, last Tuesday, last Monday, last Sunday. So the idea is to say the action that finished it in the past. Here we have 4 examples. Here, I did my homework yesterday. Pay attention, this is a positive form. And that's why the verb did is the main verb. This is not the auxiliary verb, class. Because did is the past form of the verb do. Do is irregular verb. In the past we say did, right? I did my homework. But when? Yesterday. Yesterday is the time expression. The second example, Paul made his bed very well. When? 2 days ago. This is time expression. Okay, reinforce the simple past. The rock band sang, this is the main verb in the past, irregular verb. A beautiful song last weekend. This is the time expression. And the last example, my sister and I traveled. This is a regular verb. In the past, we say the suffix ed. Traveled to London when? Last year. Last year is the time expression. Okay? So, the present continuous. One more time, right? What's the function? Is to talk about actions in progress, action happening at the moment or now. Here, we have the structures and examples. The first example is in the positive form. The subject, we. What's the conjugation form of the verb be for present continuous here? Are, we are. And we have the main verb in the gerund form, right? With ing. Studying, We are studying English now. This is the time expression reinforcing the present continuous. The second example, Mirna is. Mirna is a third person, right? She's a woman. Yes? So she is. Is the form for the third person. Mirna is paying attention to Clayton's explanation. Another example, Bruna is eating her lunch at the moment. The last one, Diane's father is working now. So this is the structure that you have to remember about the present continuous. We always say the subject plus the verb be in present form according to the subject plus the action verb in the gerund form with ing form. So, what's the difference from the past continuous? So, the function is to talk about actions in progress at a particular time in the past. So, what's the difference from the present continuous? We only say the form of the verb be in the past. Was or were. That's the only difference between them, right? It's made from the past tense of the verb be and the ing form of a verb. Here we have some examples, as you can see. I was working when you called me. So this action interrupted was this action in progress in the past was interrupted by this action in the past with this question word when. We can say when or while. Yes, when you called me. The next example. You were watching movies when your friend arrived. One more time. This past continuous form was interrupted by this simple past form. When your friend arrived is in the simple past. Another example. He was writing a letter yesterday, right? This is in the past. Okay. So what was he doing yesterday? He was writing a letter yesterday. The next example, she was working out every day at the gym. It was smelling so good when I saw that delicious cake. Another example, we were playing soccer last weekend. Another one, you were doing the house chores at 9 p.m. Don't forget, when we say house chores, they are activities that we do inside the house, right? Do the dishes, do the laundry, wash the dishes, every activity that we do at home. And the last example, they were traveling to London last year. So you have to remember that we have only two forms of the verb be in the past, was or were. As you can see here, for this subject, I will say was. For these subjects, you we say were. For the third person, he, she, it, we only say this form was, he was, she was, it was. For plural forms here, we say were. We were, you were, they were. What were you doing last Sunday? Imagine this. We are practicing now about the past continuous and you receive this question. What were you doing last Sunday? In this example, I was praying at the church. When? Last Sunday is the time expression. Another example. What were you doing this morning? Now, imagine right now is afternoon or at night. And early. earlier. What were you doing this morning? I was cleaning the house and I was cooking my lunch. Another one, I was studying biology last night. Another one, I was working at home this morning. Okay, this time expression, okay, isn't good because the time expression is this morning, right? We can change here. I was studying biology this morning. And the last example, we were driving a car this morning. They are examples that we practice together. So, as you can see, we have 3 more examples here. They were traveling to London last year. This is a positive form. In negative form, we have only to say the verb be in the past in negative form. They weren't traveling to London last year. Weren't is the same as were not. But people don't usually say this form, right? They say the contraction form. Another one. It's a question, right? Were they traveling to London last year? This is a question in the past continuous. We start with the verb be plus the subject plus the action verb with ing. And here we have a schema, yes, about the personal pronouns in English and the form of the verb be conjugated in the past. We say in English, I was, you were, practice the pronunciations. All right, class? A little. Pause this video and repeat. I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, you were, they were. Okay? So the subjects can be names, proper nouns, proper names. All right? Names of people in English. Replace it by these personal pronouns in English, right? Don't forget this. In here, concerning about the gerund form, the action verbs with ing forms, it's important to remember that some verbs are state verbs. What's the function of the state verbs for this? We don't usually say then with ing form. It's possible to say only in the past or in the simple present form. For example, we can say the verb, for example, the verb understand, for example. It's very difficult hear a person saying like this, I am understanding English. No, this is a little weird in English. It's so you have to say in the present simple present. We say I understand English. Okay, it's better. It's not possible to say, for example, the verb need in gerund form with ing. I am needing a new cell phone. No, class, don't say that because this is a state verb too. So we usually say in the past or in the present. I need a new cell phone. As you can see in this example, our teacher needs a new cell phone, right? As you can see, we have examples of state verbs that we don't usually say in gerund form. Agree, believe, forget, guess, know, remember, think, understand. They are examples of thoughts verbs. Emotions, adore, hate, like, love. Interesting because we don't say I am loving you in English. We say in present, I love you. The verb need, prefer, want. The sense, feel, hear, look, see, smell. But class, you know that in some situations we have some exceptions to say this form. As you can see here, some verbs have both a state and an active meaning. For example, the verb be, have, and think. As you can see in this example, we say he has brown eyes, or we can say he is having a good time at the party. It's possible. Remember the activity about the neighbors? Because they were having a party. It's possible to say the verb to have in this case. But in general, it's not possible to say in gerund form because this is a state verb. So the next part is to remember these vocabularies about global problems in English. And we have to remember how to say them, how to write them in English, and the meaning of each one. They are, please, if you have the opportunity to pause this video, just repeat after me. Disease, pollution, poverty, unemployment, animal extinction, climate change, crime, corruption. I brought here the definitions for you, so don't forget to read each one, okay, to know what's the meaning of each global problem item here. So the last part, class, one more time, to reinforce this subject is about the past continuous versus simple past, the difference between them. So we use simple past for an action that interrupts an action in progress. The past continuous. Okay, it's wrong here. Use while or when to connect the actions. Here we have some examples. I can say, I was cooking dinner when or while the phone rang. So this action was happening in the past. It was in the past continuous, right? Because we say was cooking. So what's the action interrupted this past continuous? Is the phone rang. So rang is the irregular verb of the verb ring, right? So we say rang in the past and divided by the question word when the phone rang. The next example, now the question word begins the sentence. We can say while I was waiting at the bus stop. So if the question word when or while is in the beginning of a sentence, if you have to write a sentence with this example, we have to write the comma symbol here, comma, right? To stop the sentence. It began to rain, right? Another example, I lost my keys while I was shopping. Or we can change the forms here. When I was shopping, comma, I lost my keys. It's possible to say replacing the, the positions between these sentences. So use a comma symbol, this symbol here, after the main clause if when and while is at the beginning of the sentence, as you can see in this example here, right? While we have a comma here, we say when in the beginning, we have to write the comma symbol here, right, class? So that's all for our review number 1. I hope you enjoyed this little class. Please, class, if you have any question, a comment, let me know about this. Comment, just put your questions below, right? See you in our next class.